Hi. One of the thou shalt not miss feature in Moscow is the Borodino Panorama. Well, it is one of the biggest attractions those days for the reason that there is a 115-meter long and a 15-meter tall canvas painted with the scenes of the Napoleonic War of 1812 and the retreat of the invading soldiers after facing a defeat. Panorama is a circular drum-like or a tank-like gallery where at the center of which there will be a podium, there is a stage, and for the viewers to stand there and just gaze or just watch or just view the various scenes depicting the continuous scene of any feature, for example. In other words, there is no separate what is called scenes. It is one continuous scene. In other words, the 115-meter long canvas painted beautifully and preserved is a continuous scene with no borders on either side. And the scene depicted is as far deep and away as like 8 or 10 kilometers in a plain land or in a war scene. In other words, whatever a viewer, an observer, can see through the naked eye of the war front, fights and deaths, etc., is depicted there. So, this was told about the existence of this panorama in Borodino. Borodino is a metro station, near a metro station, let us say, to me by Mr. Mansoor Ali, a professor of management those days in Roorkee University, who was also visiting, like me, the Moscow Institute, and one Dr. Chellappan. Chellappan was a professor in Madurai Kamaraj University in the Department of English, and another one, Mr. Singh, who was a dean in the Northeastern University or whatever. So we just, met each other in the lobby of the hotel several times, and one of those weekends, Mr. Mansoor Ali told me that, hey, look, Thrivikramji, there is an interesting thing that we have to go and see in Moscow, in addition to whatever we have so far seen in the Kremlin area or in the Red Square area. And this is called Borodino Panorama. And he knows about the existence. Mr. Ali knows about the existence of the panorama, but not the location exactly. Well, I said, I can also join in that quest to locate this area. And then, when you buy, what happens, a ticket, a monthly ticket for metro, tram, trolleybus and bus from a kiosk, what they also give you is a small map of a postcard-sized map of the metro, Moscow metro. So one advantage that I had over the trio, the other three Indian friends, is that I can read and understand all those signs displayed on the buildings, on the streets, and the uppercase Russian alphabets. Because before departing to Delhi on my way to Moscow, on an afternoon I sat down in my bed and practiced, copywriting the Russian alphabets and along with the sound, which I copied originally from the Chambers 20th Century Dictionary in the back inside the cover. So once I sat through, doing the copywriting for 6 hours, my skill or in reading the whatever written in Russian alphabet it was enormous. I could read almost anything in uppercase only, but not lowercase, and without any hitch. So I told Mr. Mansoor Ali that I can do this, I can manage it. Let us check this little map. So I sat down in the hotel lobby in a corner in a sofa and read through those little very small letters, lettered names of the stations and located where Borodino is. And the next thing is how to choose a route. Well, the only way you can go to Borodino from the metro station university is by hitting what is called the Red Square area, where you have the first radial road around. And from there you take a different route. In other words, the metro that follows the university, Lenski Guru University, etc., does not take you to the Borodino area. So we decided upon the time. It was a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. After our breakfast, we took a metro. We walked up to what is called the university metro, and then started a ride to the what is called Krasnaya Ploshad or the Red Square. Then got off at a station in Krasnaya Ploshad, because the train will go farther north early. And then took a train along a circular, a ring road. Of course, it's a metro only. Then got off at another station, next station to come. And of course, we were going in the anti-clockwise direction. Another clockwise is a big circular trip. Anti-clockwise, and we landed in the station or a junction, and in the metro station, and then took a train to Borodino. And in Borodino, once we emerged from the metro, the scene is very clear. We can see the huge, glittering, glamorous, cylinder shaped arena, which is called the Borodino Panorama. Here, one word about the metro is very important. At the intersection, at every intersection, we have the what is called the rails, the railroad. There are two radial roads going through the Red Square area, and two ring roads. And at any intersection, what happens is one of the roads will be at a higher elevation, not higher elevation, at a lower depth, and from where you get out of this at the station, then take what is called a elevator down to the second railroad. In other words, there is no same level crossing in the underground for the metro. Most of the time, whatever I have traveled through, this is the type of construction. Luckily, all these metro stations are wonderfully created. There is no comparison whatsoever. In other words, it is a piece of master craft using marble stone. This platform is paved with marble. The roof is arch-shaped and covered with the marble, and the walls on either side are also lined up with marble. Such a masterpiece. In other words, there is absolutely no doubt about the level of knowledge and innovation that the Russian or the Soviet engineers had after the revolution. That is actually an offshoot of what existed intellectually, academically, and innovatively in the Tsarist days. Well, of course, there is no comparison between what their knowledge base and innovative minds they had when we were in India had nothing those days, along the time, in the same timeline. That is the point. Plus, of course, there probably is a unified country. The Tsarist Russia was a huge one with a lot of natural resources, trade, commerce, money, and so on and so forth. And whatever the Soviet system wanted to create since taking over from the Tsarist Russia was to build something better, impressive, and iconic. That is the point. So, anyway, now having said that, now I will go back to the Borodino Panorama. So, this was created to commemorate the scenes of and a memorial to the 1812 Napoleonic War and defeat of Napoleonic army by the Soviet army, by the Russian army, Tsarist Russian army. The aim of the Napoleonic War was to capture Moscow. Well, it happened. It is called the War of Borodino, and I'm not sure whether the spot where the Borodino Panorama stands is part of the original battlefield. I am not sure about that. But then,